Jeff and a bunch of lead Overwatch 2 developers, guys, have given an interview to Edge Magazine. And Edge Magazine, well, they've just published this. The only issue is it's only available inside the magazine, so you physically have to go and buy the magazine. However, what I'm going to do in this video is break this down so we can go over the key details that matter to us. There is a ton of information here, guys. We've got things like Jeff talking about Overwatch Endgame and where that could go and what they're looking to do. We've got things like the meta, how is that going to change with PvP and what they're trying to do with Overwatch 2, the different types of media they're looking at. There's a lot of stuff here, but we're going to go over it, and it's actually cool to get new information on Overwatch 2, or well, little bits of information, which obviously we're going to be super hyped to look into as diehard fans of Overwatch. All right, guys, let's get stuck into this. So firstly, the article is kind of, or the piece, I guess, that Edge have put together, it's structured like this. The first part is sort of like a general overview of Overwatch, and you've got a bunch of lead devs there giving answers to questions and stuff. Most of it we already know, like we know it's a PvE game. Remember, this is designed for people who literally have no idea what Overwatch 2 is. However, there are little juicy bits of info we can pull out. And then the next part is a Q&A with Jeff. And then finally, we've got a bit of a detailed look at Aaron Keller's career at Blizzard. And we're going to take a look at one quote from that. Anyway, let's get stuck into it, guys. So check this out. It wants the multiplayer meta to be in chaos when the new game launches. The studio wants the competitive scene to be in as much disarray as it was when Blizzard first added D.Va, Mei, and Genji into the beta back in the day. Aside from the pair of aforementioned Overwatch allies, who else can we expect to join in on the action? Now, the aforementioned allies there, guys, was Echo and Sojourn. Nothing is confirmed yet, but it sounds as if, though, Blizzard isn't ruling out more outlandish designs. Every so often, we do this thing where we get together, everyone on the team, and just go crazy hero ideas. Let's go. Everyone will do a thumbnail of what the hero might be, what their abilities might be, and once, just entirely in jest, someone even came up with a hero that was a pizza. So we get some crazy ideas out of these sessions. We do it because it's a great time to burn off steam, but we do get some great ideas out of these meetings. We still have some of these ideas, actually, that are backburnered. Perhaps Overwatch's most out there character so far was born out of one of these meetings, and that was Wrecking Ball. So this is really interesting because this is saying Overwatch 2 is going to launch with loads of heroes. That's actually what that says. So this is good, right? I actually, there's a video you guys will see on the channel where I do argue for this. I'm like, I want Blizzard to just launch loads of heroes at once, because that would shake the meta up like crazy. Because when we just get one new hero, normally it's a bit of an OP hero, everyone starts playing it, the meta gets shaped around it, and it's that. But if you drop like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 heroes, that would be incredible. So this is cool because this is confirmation Overwatch 2 will launch with more than one hero, and that's beautiful. Maybe we get Null Sector as a playable faction. That could be cool as hell. So let's move on to the Q&A session with Jeff, and let's get stuck into this. Now, apologies again, guys, for all the text on the screen, but as I said, this is only available if you buy the Edge magazine. So yeah, it's cool if I put it on the screen. You guys can maybe pause it, read through it yourself if you don't want to listen to me and all of that stuff. All right, let's do it. So what's your definition of a sequel, and how does Overwatch 2 fit it? So Jeff says, a sequel is a brand new game with new gameplay and features, as well as an evolution of the game world. Overwatch 2 is clearly a sequel by my definition. We've more than doubled the team size from the original game to make Overwatch 2. The game will feature a brand new core game mode called Push, plus multiple new maps for this mode. We'll be introducing a full suite of new PvP maps to the game. What you would expect from a sequel to any shooter, including multiple new maps for every existing game mode currently in the game, as well as Push. All right, cool. So that's Jeff saying we're going to give you loads of content. The interesting tidbit here is they've doubled the size of the Overwatch team. So hopefully that means we get more stuff, right? But surely if it's this type of PvE-centric expansion, maybe it just takes more development time anyway. So maybe we won't get more stuff. I don't know. I don't want to speculate too much on that, but that's Jeff saying, look, we've increased the team size. That's cool. He then carries on to say, we're introducing full-featured PvE, not just our simple seasonal content of the past. That will include a complete story experience with a full set of story missions pushing the narrative of Overwatch forward through gameplay. For the first time, we're also working on a highly replayable cooperative feature we call Hero Missions that will be powered by a progression system that will allow each hero to level up and gain new powers. We will also be introducing multiple new heroes. You heard it right there. Multiple new heroes. So actually, Jeff just confirmed it there again. So great. The engine is getting, well, maybe not actually, because if he's saying, I don't know, let's just say I think Overwatch 2 is going to launch with multiple heroes based off the other quote we've just gone over and based off what Jeff is saying here. That has to be what it is. We will also be introducing multiple new heroes. The engine is getting a lot of great updates as well. And at BlizzCon, we showed off the new hero looks and brand new user interface. Overwatch 2 is an order of magnitude larger than the original game, and therefore we consider it a sequel. Well, there you go. That's why Jeff thinks it's a sequel. And I still kind of think it looks like PvE. It's like a PvE expansion, right? Now, that might be doing them a bit of a disservice, but it kind of is, because the PvP, it's still the same game, right? We're just getting new character models. We get one new core PvP mode, a bunch of maps, and then PvE. It feels like PvE is being plugged in, but hey, whatever. It's new stuff. What were your biggest learnings from the first game? Luckily, all Blizzard games are run as a live service. Many of us on the team drew knowledge and inspiration from other games. I worked for 6.5 years on World of Warcraft. When it came time to plan our live content, I suggested seasonal events because of the way that they made the world feel in WoW. The seasonal events turned out to be one of our most popular pieces of content. We added, the biggest lesson for any live service game is always the same. Update the game as frequently as you possibly can. Yes, Jeff, that's right, isn't it, Jeff? Update as frequently as you possibly can, Jeff. Hopefully that's quicker now because you've got twice the team size. Anyway, Jeff sort of like, yeah, look, man, I invented the seasonal events, which were beautiful until they got recycled. But yeah, beautiful stuff there, Jeff. What's the team's vision for Overwatch? How has it changed over the years? And how far will this sequel get you towards realizing it? Our vision for Overwatch has always been to create inspiring heroes, to embrace inclusivity, to reward teamwork, and to inspire our players towards a bright and hopeful future. We've always thought of Overwatch as a universe, not just a single game. The original game was the first expression of Overwatch, but we dream of what other forms of media could feature Overwatch. Movies? Animated series? Oh, Jeff, this is getting spicy. What other game types would everyone love to see in the Overwatch universe? We hope that the characters of Overwatch exist far into the future and are expressed in ways that we can't even imagine today. So this is Jeff, guys, saying he wants movies, doesn't he? He wants animated animated series. He's got animated shorts, I suppose. Maybe we'll see that. I don't know. That's actually, I don't think Jeff has said that before, which is pretty cool. Well, I think he's referenced maybe movies before, going off memory. I would have to dig back through everything Jeff has said, but that's cool to see him saying that, especially in such a formal interview. Is there any part of you that's nervous about the team taking more of a hand in story missions? Some would argue community-created lore ended up being a standout aspect of the first game. Now, one thing I'll say here myself before we go into Jeff's response, community-created lore, I mean, I don't really think there's that much. Well, there is. I don't want to say there isn't. I think what they're getting confused with here, there's a lot of you see a lot of community artists doing fantastic work. You see a lot of concept skins, you see concept heroes, obviously loads of cosplay and stuff. But I don't think I've straight up seen lore. I don't think I've seen massive sort of fanfics. Maybe there is that kind of stuff going out there and I just haven't seen it. I don't know. But anyway, let's carry on. Let's see what Jeff says. So he says, absolutely. The community often criticizes us for lack of story. Yeah. Although, actually, I will interject here. We do, but there actually isn't with Overwatch, but it's just all over the place, and it's so difficult to follow. Anyway, Jeff carries on and says, but I can't help but feel that part of their affinity for our characters exists because of the stories they have imagined for them. Once we, Blizzard, tell you the story, it's going to be hard for that to live up to your version of the character. It's going to be tricky for sure. So this is funky because you can see Jeff's worried here. Jeff is saying we're going to create stories, and if it doesn't align with what you think the fantasy of your hero is, then how can we live up to that? Which I suppose is a valid concern to have. To what extent would replayable single-player endgame content suit Overwatch? Is its inclusion something you and the team have considered? All right, so this is a little bit of a brief thing of Jeff talking about Endgame, but let's get into it. We're definitely going to explore what Endgame means for hero missions. We have many experienced developers who created endgame content for World of Warcraft and Diablo on our team. This is one of the challenges that we're eager to start working on. Now, we can read in between the lines here. Yes, it's Blizzard. Yes, there are devs from WoW. There are devs from Diablo on the Overwatch team. Also, there's just the Diablo and the World of Warcraft teams just in the building, I suppose, who they can go and talk to. Well, they're actually in a different building, on the same campus, whatever. They can go and talk to these guys. But what I think is key here is Jeff is saying, look, we're going to have Endgame for hero missions. Now, hero missions are the supposedly replayable missions, which you'll play on the same maps, which is on the maps that we've got now and whatever maps come out in the future. To me, they kind of look a bit, I don't know, like they're not blowing my socks off. What would blow my socks off is if we had raids or something which was, you know, causing us to play through them again. Now, you look at Diablo. Diablo has rifts and it has greater rifts. You could totally do that with Overwatch. This is just, you keep playing through the same event over and over again. It gets more and more difficult. In Diablo, you get better loot. In Overwatch, I don't know what the reward would be. Like loot as in items in Diablo you get and stuff like that, and gold and such. In Overwatch, I don't know what that could be, but if you were like constantly playing through it over and over and it gets more and more difficult, the challenge there is to see how far you can take it. That could be cool. But the key thing here is World of Warcraft. It would be so awesome to see raids, some sort of raid, some like boss that they build and which can spawn randomly, and you can, like, I don't know, maybe you get a big reward, you can invite your friends in to take this down. Imagine if you could, like, the lobby size was increased, so there was like 50 player lobbies and it was like some massive Omnic is attacking on the map and then you guys go out and attack that. That would be absolutely incredible, and I hope this is the way they're thinking with these hero missions. But yeah, Jeff does state World of Warcraft and Diablo there, so I'm reading between the lines. But Endgame, Jeff has referenced it. We want replayable endgame, but also we need a good endgame. This is super cool. A sequel is an opportunity for developers to make some serious overhauls to their game. Is there anything you're glad to have the chance to rebuild now? Now, I thought this was a bit of a loaded question when I read it, because I'm like, yeah, like, you know, rebuild PvP balance, I don't know, or the way barriers work just on a fundamental level or something like that. But Jeff doesn't go into that much detail, or he doesn't even answer in that kind of way. This is what he says. We've already committed to redoing the look of the original game's heroes. We're completely redoing the game's user interface, which, by the way, is actually amazing. The Overwatch 2 interface is so much better than Overwatch, I just can't explain to you guys. We are experimenting with more radical changes for PvP internally, but I don't want to commit to any of those just yet. Now, that's cool. So he kind of is saying, like, yeah, we are looking at changing some PvP, but we're not going to say what we're doing just yet. That's pretty cool. Also, as we proved with the role queue system, if we feel like something is an overall huge improvement to the current game and does not require significant technical changes, i.e. the visual upgrades, we would consider just changing the current game and not waiting for the sequel. Cool. So that's, you know, it's nice to see that. You know, role queue has been great for the game. It was just unfortunate that role queue came out with Sigma, and that kind of created problems which were more Sigma centric in role queue, not so much like, oh, role queue is causing this problem. But hey, whatever. Hopefully that'll be better when the PTR patch goes live next week. Okay, and finally, we've got this from Aaron Keller, and Aaron says this. So one of the things I'm most excited about with Overwatch 2 is we can finally start exploring this world. It's such an important thing for us at Blizzard to create these worlds and let players walk around and explore them. And now we finally get to do that. On Overwatch 2, we get to take people through a big story. We get to introduce them to different characters. You get to see what these different characters' relationships with each other are and what their relationships to Overwatch and to some of the main protagonists in the story are. I'm really excited to be able to start doing that for our players. And that concludes it, guys. That, in my opinion, is the main spice in this Edge interview. A lot of it is taken up with, like, you know, stuff we've heard of before. We know it's a PvE game. You know, they talk about story missions, Rio de Janeiro. There's a feature on that. There's a feature on the redesigned heroes and stuff like that. It doesn't give us any new character designs, but Jeff did say that all of the heroes are going to be redesigned, which is cool, and updated for Overwatch 2. So yeah, there you go, guys. It's nice to finally get some information on Overwatch 2. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below, guys. I've been Stylosa. This is Unit Lost, and if you guys enjoyed the video, then remember, if you like the video, it really does help me, and it helps the channel, and it makes our community grow as well, which is awesome. And subscribe to the channel if you really love it, and click the bell so you get alerted to when videos go live, and I'll catch all of you guys on the next one. Toodaloo.